Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the possibility of the Washington football team trading for quarterback Matthew Stafford. We'll also talk about how much it's going to take to trade for him, the cap situation, and we'll go over a few trade packages that the Washington football team could present to the Detroit Lions. If you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content, so let's get right into the video. Okay, so first let's start off with some background info, and then we'll talk about what it's going to take to get him and the salary cap implications. So, this was reported yesterday, but the Lions and Matthew Stafford have mutually agreed to part ways this offseason, and the team will begin exploring trade options in the coming weeks for their star quarterback. The Lions and Matthew Stafford have had open and healthy discussions since the season ended, but with the Lions starting again, Stafford told the team he feels it's the right move to move on, and team officials agreed. So one of the big name quarterbacks this offseason is finally available. So Matthew Stafford is available, and the Washington football team could be in play since they do need a quarterback. I think Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke are all right, but I do think you're going to need someone a lot better than them, like Matthew Stafford, maybe Dak Prescott, if you want to get over that hump and finally get a playoff win or more, which we haven't gotten since 2005. So now on to what it's going to take to get him. A lot of people think it's going to be, a third or a second. That's not the case. Adam Schefter reported this yesterday, and he said the Lions are expected to receive at least a first round pick, league sources said. So, and the thing about us is we have the 19th overall pick, so that probably isn't going to be enough. Like I said, a lot of fans think it's going to be a lot less than that, but in reality, it's probably going to be a first round pick and a day 2 pick. If we're giving it up, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think we're going to be willing to give up 19 and possibly a third, but some people are saying it's going to be a lot more that we're going to have to give up because, he is still a really good quarterback, top 10 quarterback, fringe top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And the biggest thing is, a lot of people think his salary is a bunch, but it actually is not. And here's a quick thing right here. So Stafford currently has a $10 million roster bonus that is earned on the 5th day of 2021 free agency. Assuming he is traded before then or delays the earning of the bonus until a trade, he's due $21.5 million per year over the next 2 years, 2 seasons by his new team. That is an amazing bargain for a quarterback of his status to get him for $21.5 million per year over the next 2 years. That is really, really good. I mean, you have so many quarterbacks making, over that or close or way over that, like 30 million or more. You got Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, a bunch of these quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo, that you don't necessarily think deserve that much money, or over 30 million. They have that, and Stafford's at 21.5, assuming he does get traded before the 5th day of free agency. So we would have him at a good price. And of course, here's my thing with Matthew Stafford. I'm fine giving up a first round pick or even more, but if you do, I need to make sure that we have an extension in place, because giving up a first round pick for Matthew Stafford for 2 years isn't worth it in my opinion. I want to get an extension done, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, because he's 33, or he's going to turn 33 in a few weeks or a month. So if you have him at 33 for 4 to 5 years, he can still be playing, really high level football at that point. But I don't want to keep him. I don't want to have him just for 2 years. But yeah, I mean, Matthew Stafford, let me know down in the comments real quick what you would give up from. If you look at his stats real quick, this past season had a pretty solid year, played in all 16 games, was a little bit banged up. That's why his numbers are a little bit down, but still had a great year. Over 4,000 passing yards, 64% completion percentage, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Year before that was probably, if he would have been healthy for that year, probably would have been his best year yet. 8 games, passed for 2,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So he was on pace for 5,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. And before that, I don't want to hear from people that he's injury prone, because if you look at his stats from 2011 to 2018, he did not miss a single game, and the only year that he missed some games was 2019 from that stretch. So he is not injury prone at all. And even when he does get these minor injuries, he always plays through them. That's the good thing about him. You don't have to worry about him missing a lot of games, because he's able to fight through these injuries, which I really like. And, I think he could be a solid quarterback for us, top 10, if we get the pieces around him. And, the thing about us in free agency, a lot of people want us to go after a wide receiver in free agency, and it's going to be tough to get a big name wide receiver if we don't have a big name quarterback in there, because they want to have some security with a solid quarterback throwing to them. So if you have someone like Matthew Stafford, maybe that can, bring in Kenny Golladay or Marvin Jones. We'll see, but I think Matthew Stafford is a top 10-ish quarterback and would help us out a ton, because we once had 7 wins this year with one of the worst, collectives in the NFL with Haskins, Alex Smith, and Kyle Allen. Alex Smith was definitely better than his numbers showed, but still, he wasn't that great. And one quick stat, the only QBs in NFL history with 45,000 passing yards and less than 150 interceptions, Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. So he is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. And also, Matthew Stafford really hasn't had that much help around him. Sure, he had Kelvin Johnson for the first few years of his career, and obviously one of the best receivers of all time, but he never had a run game. And this is a crazy stat. Only 12 times in his 12-year career did Matthew Stafford have a running back rush for over 100 yards. And that is insane. He hasn't had any run game at all, and they were 10-2 with a 100-yard rusher, and we have a solid run game here in Washington, especially with Gibson. He's going to continue to develop. We got J. McKissick, and our offensive line improved down the stretch. So that is something that's going to help him out a lot wherever he goes. If it's Indianapolis, if it's Washington, if it's San Francisco, these teams all have solid run games and will be able to help him out a ton. He hasn't had much help. And one thing also, Matthew Stafford obviously has a connection to our new general manager, Martin Mayhew. And this is a quote that he had. Martin Mayhew, who drafted Matt Stafford, said, if we had 22 Matt Staffords, we'd win championships every single year. He loves Matt Stafford, and that was his first pick as a general manager, so I think he's going to want to go after Matthew Stafford. I really hope we do. I know a lot of people think he's old, that they think he isn't as good as he used to be. That is just not the case. He had a really good year this year, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, with not too much to work with, not a good defense, no good run game, still is able to do that. And, he's not old, 32, quarterbacks play into their late 30s and early 40s a lot now in the NFL. So I think it would be a solid trade to make. And, some trade packages that we could put together. First, we could give up 19. I'm not sure if that works, but if that works, if just a number 19 overall pick works, I would do it in a heartbeat. Number 2 trade package could be like pick 19, our first round pick, and our first third round pick. That definitely could get it done. I'm not sure if you guys would want to do that. Let me know in the comments down below. And then the third one could be a first round pick plus a okay starter from us. So maybe you could go ahead and give up one of our players. I don't know if Tim Settle if they would want him, but I think that would be an okay trade package, because I think he's worth in that 3rd to 5th round, probably 4th, 5th round range, because he would be a starting defensive tackle on a lot of teams in the NFL. I'm not sure how the trade package is going to go, but it's going to take at least a first round pick, guys. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But all I'm going to say, if you're considering drafting a quarterback at 19, then you should definitely be willing to give up the 19th overall pick for Matt Stafford, because he's miles ahead of any quarterback we're going to be able to get with that 19th overall pick. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and those post notifications so you never miss a video. Like I said, let me know if you guys are willing to make this trade. Peace.